Calaroga Shark Media.
I love when a show comes together. I thought at one point I had nothing for today, and boy, did this come together. I've even got a story that's got me all fired up for the second half. And hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Let's start with a headline. I love this one. Comic rips nice guy Nate Bargatze for partying with fascists. It's W. Kamau Bell, and he is among the people not happy with Nate Bargatze. Bell put out a Substack post on Monday with the title, "It is so easy not to do this." It comes with a suggested list of rules to follow for those who are, quote, confused when they are judged for their own actions. Bell writes, "The rules are so simple. People seem to forget them so often, so I've decided to write them out. The easiest way to not be photographed with fascists is not to go to places where fascists coagulate. If you do go down to a place where fascists are coagulating, then you better have a good reason, like a John Brown Inglourious Bastards good reason." Bell writes, "No one cares how much you wanted to see the fights at the White House. The White House is currently registered as the home of a fascist." Again, send your letters to W. Kamau Bell. "The only reason Donald Trump loves the UFC is because UFC CEO Dana White runs the UFC just like Trump wants to run the country, like a dictatorship." Bell continues, "Stop being surprised when people who think you are a nice person are totally bummed out when you reveal yourself to be team fascism. You were smarter than that. If not, then go back to the top and reread this list again." Bell continues, "Look, I get it. I've been in some pictures with people I regret. The difference is I regret being in those pictures." He then shared a photo with Joe Rogan from 2014. Speaking of Rogan, Rogan told the story from Backstage at the UFC event. Rogan was a little stressed there could be some terror at the event. Quoting Rogan, "I said to Trump, I hope we don't die in a terrorist attack." And he goes, "We got to go somehow." Rogan said, "What the F, dude?" Carlos Mencia. His attorneys demanded his immediate release from bail. They fired an emergency motion. You may recall Carlos Mencia was arrested at his home. L.A. County District Attorney Nathan Hochman had announced a 12-count felony tax omission against Carlos Mencia and branded him, quote, one of California's biggest tax scofflaws. In a motion filed to set bail, the defense accused the prosecutors of turning a financial dispute into a publicity stunt designed to showcase the district attorney's new unit. The motion was obtained by the California Post. That's the West Coast spinoff of the New York Post. And apparently it reads, "No one argues against the obligation to pay taxes, but the raid at his home with multiple law enforcement agents screaming 'search warrant' with a bullhorn and drawing guns was an absurd show of force for the alleged offenses that do not involve weapons, drugs, or violence." They also said that Mencia's incarceration was inflicting severe financial harm. He had to cancel a few comedy shows, and that may have cost him as much as $40,000 in lost income. They argued that Carlos Mencia is not a flight risk. They submitted character letters from longtime friends, one of which is Nikki Rosenson, who worked with Carlos Mencia on the Comedy Central Mind of Mencia. Rosenson wrote, "It is important to me that Carlos's character is not reduced to a singular thing. He's a loving father and a loyal, kind friend." Roy Wood Jr. will be in Pittsburgh this weekend at the DVE Comedy Festival. He's hoping to catch the first 4 innings of the Saturday 4 o'clock Pirates game before his 8 o'clock comedy show. He said the plan's to catch a few innings. "Even if Skeens isn't pitching, my debate in Pittsburgh is always rest versus recreation. There's so much fun stuff to do there." Talked about his time at The Daily Show. "It was a good time. I didn't get the pleasure of getting to work under Jon Stewart, so I can't speak to whatever the workflow is over there now. But just to be able to be part of building some degree of awareness of what's happening in the world and try to inform people, I think you take that a little seriously." Michael Che announced a new stand-up special. He posted on Instagram. He told his followers he'll be promoting a stand-up special in like 2 months. "But I don't really do a lot of press, so what are the platforms that people F with now?" Late Nighter says, "Then came a process of elimination," with Che writing, "Rogan's finished, right? Shannon Sharp probably just going to ask me about other people. The train one. I already did hot ones. What's the new hot platform?" Paraphrasing there. This would be Michael Che's first special since 2021's Michael Che Shame the Devil, which, if I remember correctly, was okay. This is the one that's got me a little fired up. Johnny Mac's going to get a little political here. Send your letters to Johnny Mac. In an interview with the Financial Times, former Disney CEO Bob Iger commented about when they took Jimmy Kimmel off the air after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Was that move politically motivated? Iger says that was not the case. We thought it was in bad taste. Johnny Mac says, "Sure, Jan." Okay, now let me set up the table for you. I'm going to replay what Kimmel actually said, but let me set up the table for you. Let me remind everybody. On September 10th, Charlie Kirk was murdered. On September 11th, the New York Daily News quotes Elon Musk, who you may recall was working on something called Doge. Elon Musk tweeted, "The left is the party of murder." ABC News, September 14th, reported on Republican Senator Lindsey Graham appearing on Meet the Press. They quote Graham as saying he saw Kirk's murder as, quote, an effort by the radical left to dehumanize the MAGA movement. Now, in this new piece, Bob Iger says of Jimmy Kimmel, "We just wanted him to acknowledge that it was an ill-timed and probably inappropriate comment." Let's listen to what Jimmy Kimmel actually said and remember the two quotes that I just read to you. And here is a longer clip from Jimmy Kimmel that puts the line in context.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger-pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Send your letters to Johnny Mac. David Letterman fans, we are excited. Worldwide Pants is teaming up with NBC Universal and whatever Merzigo is to expand distribution of more than 6,000 episodes of Letterman on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms. Whoever Merzigo is, they are going to optimize Letterman's archive of late-night shows, starting with the great Late Night with David Letterman and The Late Show with David Letterman. How do we get the morning shows? Somebody's got to have the morning shows. Put the morning shows out. Walter Kim is Worldwide Pants executive producer for digital, and Walter Kim said David Letterman's unparalleled run in late night across 4 decades from his shows on NBC and CBS contains 6,000 hours of some of the most memorable television content in pop culture history. Johnny Mac will say most of that from the late night years. Walter Kim said, as we continue to expand our distribution from these iconic moments on YouTube and Facebook, partnering with Merzigo will enable us to better reach fans and new viewers across every platform and device, etc., etc., etc. Meanwhile, remember Stephen Colbert had a show. Do you miss it? You don't? Be honest. You don't. Be honest. Just be honest. I know we all like Stephen Colbert, but be honest. You be honest. You may recall it was canceled. Well, the writing team is trying to get an Emmy. Now, CBS isn't going to help them, apparently. So they posted a homemade for-your consideration video. In it, it says, CBS is not doing an Emmys campaign for us. So for strictly financial reasons, the Colbert Late Show writers made our own for-your consideration video. Late Nighter points out that CBS has aired FYC ads in New York and LA supporting the show in general. Plus, CBS took out a for your consideration ad for The Late Show on the Hollywood Reporter site with a link going to a page that listed all the writers. Colbert's team has been nominated for Outstanding Writing for a variety series nearly every year of its run, says Late Nighter, but has not won. Can I interest you in French Saturday Night Live? Canal Plus is readying, now this again from Late Nighter, Les Saturday Night Live Francais. We don't even translate the Saturday Night Live part. Like, their actual title is like John Mangling French, Les Saturday Night Live Francais. Really? It is an official adaptation of NBC's Saturday Night Live. Late Nighter reports the project is expected to launch as a single special rather than a full episode order. France has tried this before. The previous attempt ended after one night. That was in 2017. They even did a French-language version of More Cowbell. Really? Hold on, somebody's going to pause the recording and find that.
3, 4. De merde là.
Mais quoi? Mais non, pourquoi? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Vous venez de gâcher les deux bonnes prises là, elle était encore mieux que la première, c'est pas vrai ça?
Mais nous, il nous fait chier! C'est trop sa cloche là! Bon, ok, attendez, y a que moi? Parce qu'il y a que moi, je la ferme.
Moi je suis un petit peu d'accord avec toi.
Bon, bah voilà, il nous fait chier, tu nous fais chier!
And from Deadline, Jemaine Clement says there might not be more Flight of the Conchords. He says we haven't been talking about making the TV show, but we just did some live shows for the first time in 8 years at the Greek Theater. It was really fun. I loved it. The idea of doing a film hangs around still, but we're getting old now. And that is your comedy news for today. It is June, so you're going to share the show. You're going to be like, hey, did you guys know there was French cowbell? And you're going to share the show with somebody. I don't know how it works. You tell me, because if you don't do it, I'm going to play Amy Schumer singing, and none of us want that. See you tomorrow.